So I don't know if you guys saw this, but um, apparently Metroid Prime 4 is available now. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Subway ad mistakenly says the game is available now. And it's not just like, I thought it was going to be like one of those small little stickers on the corner of a Subway. This is like literally a massive poster. The train rails are underneath this. So it's like the wall side, the human sized poster. How do you screw this up that bad as a marketing department? It's so bad that people are like, wait a second, is Metroid Prime 4 going to be shadow dropped? And they just put this up a little too early? Because how do you screw this up so bad? And see, the rails are underneath it, so you can see how big this poster is. This is massive. It says, after a long wait, Nintendo finally gave us a look at the next installment of Metroid Prime series about a year back. And that was decent, but this one, it was a year ago. Time goes by, doesn't it? Let me bring it up here while I'm reading through this, because my goodness, time definitely goes by. We all knew it was coming, but after years of holding our breath, Nintendo pulled back the curtain on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, saying it was set for a 2025 launch. Today, we're still waiting for a release date. There's no doubt Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is releasing in 2025, but the question is when exactly? Well, if you take an official advertisement for the game as gospel, apparently you should be able to buy the game right now. Spotted by Orchestrator on Reddit, an ad for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond popped up in London Underground. And as you can see, the billboard says the game is available right now. This is clearly a mistake, as Nintendo is yet to give the game a specific 2025 release date. That leads to a series of questions about this billboard. Did the company responsible for installing ads accidentally put this out early? Did someone at Nintendo sign off on this mistake? Does this point to the release date info coming any day now? Was Metroid Prime 4 Beyond originally planned to be available now? Because here's another picture of that Subway that I did not see earlier. And oh my God, this is very telling. Got Mario Kart World, and it says out now. Donkey Kong Bonanza, 17th July. Mario Kart Jamboree, it has the date underneath there. And then you see the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond one further down there. It says out now. And this is a massive advertising campaign from Nintendo in the London Underground where everyone is going to see it. Netflix Forum says, I bet that was supposed to be on Switch 2 launch game. I bet it was too. In fact, I even postulated that like last year, like it was going to be a dual launch at launch of the Switch 2, just like Breath of the Wild was with Wii U and the Switch. But for whatever reason, Nintendo was like, nope, we want all focus and attention just on Mario Kart World. One game. Metroid Prime 4 should be out right now. I agree. It's worth mentioning that this ad is part of a long strip of Switch 2 billboards in the London Underground. As you can see in the image above, Mario Kart billboard also says the game is out now, but the text bubble font appears to be exactly the same as the one on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Is it possible this is nothing more than a typo that no one managed to catch before printing? No. There's something more to this. You don't make this typo. This is way too big of an advertisement and way too public of a spot for this mistake to slip through. They can't. Now we have some people speculating over on Reddit from this. They said probably meant to cover it with coming soon. which would then be removed and replaced for the date, and then that would be removed at release. I think it's this. No, I don't think that. I don't think that. Because if that's the case, why would Donkey Kong Bonanza say July 17th? Why wouldn't they all do the same thing? So no, it's definitely not that. I think it's what Netflix Foreign was saying. I think it's this. It was meant to be a Switch 2 launch game, and they changed it last minute type thing, like a few months before launch. I mean, if that's the case, the strategy implies that we'll release really soon. Just a new clever marketing strategy. Cause confusion so that additional boosts in exposure from confused articles and posting about asking it. I know Nintendo is so serious about this kind of stuff that they don't try to do this wacky kind of marketing. They don't try to cause confusion to go viral. They don't that's not what Nintendo ever does. They hate that kind of stuff. So no. I wonder if it was originally supposed to be a Switch 2 launch title. Here you go. So marketing made the out now assets, which mistakenly went out to the public. It doesn't make sense to me why it wasn't a launch title. Same. It should have been. It should be out right now. The only thing I could think of is, well, two things. One, Nintendo is really trying to overthink this to push all the marketing for Mario Kart World. Or two, they hit a snag that they thought it was going to be ready, and then they were like, oh, shoot. The game actually has a massive problem with it. Maybe in the game, the storyline where you can do something beforehand and it breaks everything and they have to go back and rework everything and it completely set everything. Like that could be something that happened behind the scenes that they would never tell people about. Like there could be something like that catastrophic that no one thought of that would break the game because a Metroidvania needs to be, or a Metroid, this is Metroid. A Metroid game has to be very artistic and rigid with how the game proceeds so that it makes sense in how you get to places. And sure, like Super Metroid, you can cut through and do things out of order, and it still worked, and that was cool. It was all part of the game, but maybe you couldn't do that with Prime 4. Nintendo strategy for years now has been let one game be the spotlight at a time. I reckon they decided Mario Kart was going to be the console launch game because they have multiple first-party games. Launch doesn't really do anything for launch sales. If you want steady sales long-term, Bonanza and Metroid Prime 4 almost certainly could have been launch titles, but they would have simulated hardware sales at all, especially since constrained supply has already been an issue in some areas despite Nintendo. This guy's right. He's right on the money here. This is Nintendo is being very business-like with this. These games are done and ready, and I'm very confident based off of everything I've seen. They are done. Nintendo is strategically just waiting to launch them. Like Bonanza definitely could have been a launch game, and some could argue should have been. Metroid Prime 4 definitely could have been a launch game, and some could argue should have been. Bonanza 6 weeks after launch will bring a new wave of buyers. Then Prime 4 will bring more buyers who are waiting. At this point, Prime 4 is probably going to fall into like a September launch. I wonder. Nintendo will have more titles in queue waiting to go, so the drip feeding remains steady. Personally, I like the focused approach. So tired of games being announced years and years in advance. I love how Nintendo are like, here's a game, and it's coming out in 8 weeks. We're going to focus all our marketing PR 100% for this on the next 8 weeks. Well, yeah, but that flies in the face of Prime 4, which we've been waiting 8 years for now? 9? How long has it been? Great strategy, and the immediacy is a breath of fresh air in the industry loaded with pre-rendered trailers for games you won't see gameplay for 24 months. Main reason Mario Kart was a release title is because it's the best showcase for game chat, maybe. I don't think Metroid Prime is a system seller, at least compared to Mario Kart. It's not. It wouldn't need to be a system seller, but it would be a nice single-player type game to go with great along Mario Kart. I think a lot of players are craving such a title. It would show the Switch 2 graphics and mouse features probably. Yeah, that's another thing too. So I mean, I could go on forever about the situation, but one thing that I want to kind of circle back to about this, even though we know it's not the case, I want to preface what I'm about to say with we obviously know this is not the case. But but what if Nintendo shadow dropped Metroid Prime 4 just randomly? It's definitely not going to happen. But I just like to just like role play the melting down of the entire internet if this game just came out. Now, clearly, it wouldn't be physical because we'd see leaks of these being platinumed or going gold or whatever, and then being shipped to stores and stuff. And they need like a lead up time to sell the units and pre orders. But if they were to just be like, it's digital now, and we'll be physical in stores in a month, and they just dropped it tomorrow, what what would you do? Exactly, Ninetales. Exactly. Prime 4 shadow drops, the eShop would be down for 100 hours. It really would. That's true. That's true, Deku Leader. It worked for Oblivion Remastered, to be fair. That's a great point. And I'm like, man, this is wild. Because I didn't think much of it when I first saw it. But then I got to thinking, I'm like, would they? Would they shadow drop this? No, no, they would never. They would never. It's all Doug and Games in the house for the 10 banger. Thank you, Doug. Says Nintendo could triple demand for the Switch 2 hardware and solve piracy by releasing the Switch 2 Mario Mines Bitcoins bundle. Nintendo Online required to mine Bitcoins. Dude, if Nintendo themselves, first party, came out with a Mario Mines Bitcoin game, and it was an actual game that also mined for Bitcoin, dude, and then you started hearing stories about people like making money and stuff. Like, oh man, that would melt down the internet. I wonder about the ESRB and like if they would consider that like gambling mechanics or earning real world money in a game and stuff like that. I wonder how that would play into it. But that is a fascinating theory of a game right there. I never even thought about, especially from Nintendo. And they're always like counterculture with their games, so potentially, you never know. You never know. Shout out to you for the 10 banger, by the way. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you.